Hello there, this is Wilzo and I have some Xbox gameplay for you. Not really very outstanding gameplay, in fact pretty average, but a lot of the time on Xbox I'm not even recording. For example, before I had component cables for Xbox, so I couldn't record at all. I actually got a 5-in-1 spray with an MP5 and that's very annoying because I didn't have it recorded. But also good at the same time because I got it anyway. But anyway, I wanted to talk about, well, for at least the first half of this video, about the differences between the PS3 controller and the Xbox controller. In case you didn't know, I've always played on PS3 really, and that is the controller that I'm used to. And playing Xbox, I'm just not used to it, and the controller is very different, which I'll talk about. Now, firstly, analog sticks on Xbox, very different for a few reasons. And that's kind of the main problem I have with the controller, the analog sticks. Firstly because they're much tighter than the PS3, as in you have to sort of use your thumbs, like press harder to move them and stuff. And I'm just not used to that because the PS3's got very loose analogs and it's just sort of easy to move and you can do sort of precise aiming. I'm not really used to the heaviness of the analogs on Xbox. Also, I'm not used to the dead zone on the analogs. If you don't know what the dead zone is, it's basically if you move the analogs just a little bit, nothing will actually happen on screen. Say if you move the right analog stick just a tiny bit, you won't actually aim anywhere with your gun. And I'm just not used to that because there's practically no dead zone on PS3. And if there is, then I've never really noticed it. Or I just instantly got used to it because it was the first one I used on Call of Duty, first controller I mean. And so yeah, I'm just sort of having trouble getting used to it. As you can probably see in this video, I fail aiming numerous times. And the dead zone, I'm usually alright just spraying from the hip. So that's mainly what I do when I play Xbox. But when I have to do precise aiming across long distances and stuff, I sort of have trouble with it, and because I try and move it just a little bit like I would on PS3 and it won't actually go anywhere. Another thing is, when I play PS3 I just use the L1 and R1 shoulder buttons to aim and fire, and whereas on Xbox you have to use L2 and R2, there is actually no option to use any other way, and so I'm not used to using left trigger and right trigger, even though it's obviously just the way it's meant to be played on a first person shooter. You'd think you would use a trigger, and it is the logical way, but I'm just not used to it. And when I try and pop shot with the right trigger, I'll always end up not lifting my finger high enough, and I'll just end up not shooting for a second or two, and that usually get me killed, so that's pretty annoying. Although I can still sort of hold my own on Xbox, because with Call of Duty, aiming and stuff isn't really most of it. It's about half of the game. The other half's all like map control and just thinking what the enemy's going to be doing. And so I can always use that, and I usually hold my own. I think my kill to death ratio on Xbox is, I don't know, it keeps going up and down between about 1.8 and 2.0. I usually hover around there. Although I think if I made a new PS3 account for COD 4, I could probably get a kill to death ratio of about 3, give or take 0.5 or something. And that's the end of the first gameplay of Showdown it was. And the next one's on Vacant, and I do a little bit better in this one. Well, not KD wise, but I get way more kills. Yeah, so we're on Vacant now with the MP5 with red dots on. Anyway, that's kind of all I could say about the controllers. I mean, I could just repeat myself, but that would just be boring. But I can talk about other stuff. Firstly, Halo Reach comes out in just a few days, I think. And I'm still undecided on whether or not to get it, because Halo Online, I got Halo 3 ODST with my Xbox. I'm playing that online. I'm actually pretty terrible at it. And like I was saying, if I can't even have good stick control on Call of Duty, then how am I going to have good stick control on Xbox, the game on Halo is what I mean. On Halo, the game that is pretty much all about stick control and skill. rather than map control and pre-nade spots and things like random things like that. So yeah, actually when I was playing Halo Online, I actually got a message from some guy and he was saying, "Get some skill, noob," and that just depressed me. I went into a suicidal state. No, not really, but it was just, you know, kind of annoying, and I couldn't really be bothered to do. It's kind of a hard learning curve on Halo. Although I may just get Halo for the single player, maybe dabble in like Forge mode and things, because Forge is pretty cool. Commando knife. And because when me and my friend Max did the single player co-op campaign, well, it wasn't technically single player then, but the co-op campaign, and we just completed that in one night. It only took about 6 hours or so, so it was short, but it was really fun. And then there's loads more stuff you can do in Forge mode, in co-op and stuff. And I was hoping there'd be more co-op features, because that was probably my main strong point of Halo 3 for me. Although I don't always have friends over or go to friends' houses, so maybe I just won't get it all. Also, another thing recently that happened in the gaming world was that Sony released this website, or just made this website to advertise PlayStation Move. It's almost like an Anti-Kinect website, because the whole point of the website is just saying how good buttons are, because the PlayStation Move controller has buttons on, even though it looks exactly the same as a Wii remote controller thingy, and it just looks a bit gimmicky in my opinion. But they've made this website and it's just saying how useful buttons are for games and how you can do anything with them and how they're vital for controlling games, and it's all about control and about martyrdom, and they're basically just diss and Kinect really, and some of it's quite funny, but I think it's overall just really cheap and sort of a desperate attempt to make Microsoft look bad, even though I think they've got the better product. So that's a bit of a noob move by Sony. I probably won't be getting PlayStation Move, but it depends what games they've got, because at the minute the games just look really basic and almost gimmicky. Like play one night, never play again. But we'll see. I'll have to wait for some reviews and stuff. And I'll put a link to that website in the description if you want to check it out. Another thing I might put a link to is this article I found about iPad mods. Now, like, people had added iPads to other devices, or just made new devices with iPads, and they look pretty cool. There's like one where this guy made a skateboard out of an iPad. I'm not sure if it's big enough to really skate on proficiently, but I don't know, there's like a video of him using it while I fail tonight. And there's also another one, like someone put an iPad in a car. That's pretty cool. So like maybe the passenger could use it, or the driver could use it and crash, and fun times like that. Anyway, yeah, I'll just put links to that in the description too. You can go check out if you want. Anyway, the game's sort of coming to an end here, and I'm just trying to use my MP5 and just rush in with my R702. But I'm crap at aiming on Xbox. But we still win the game because the enemy team weren't the greatest. But if you like this video, then please click the like button. If you disliked it, then click the dislike button. Thank you.